Welcome to Jadekine Gaming. I am Adam. Today I'm starting something a bit new, or preparing to start something new. I'm going to run a Dungeons & Dragons game here, essentially with a few of my friends. Not quite the full group that I play with, but a few of them. I'm going to make characters, and I'm going to run a game just to film and put on here, and of course they're playing in it to have fun, I'm sure. Hopefully. But yeah, so I'm going to do a game to put up so you can enjoy through YouTube here. It'll be a game that's in the same setting that I'm running another game in currently. It's a setting I've made, and I'm kind of part of this. What I guess I'll call the Session 0 video is to at least give you a basic of what that setting is. I can also say. Essentially, this video, I'm going to go over the setting, and then at the end of the second half will probably be me having them each create their characters. So that'll be what this video is, and then next one I'll be able to just jump right into the actual game itself. But yeah, so yeah, it's the second campaign in the same setting that I've sort of built up with that I started new when it's the 5th edition setting sort of that I made. It's that. Diving into 5th edition, let's create a new setting. With 3.5, I had one setting that I used for quite a few different games, and so it may end up being, it's sort of the beginning of what could be that, a very diverse world that, for any generic kind of D&D game, it will function for that. I do tend to create my own for those. Just as an overview of the world, as sort of suggested in the Player's Handbook, the primary races are the human, halfling, elf, and dwarf, with the other ones being less common. Whatever, in the Player's Handbook, they even, what do they call it? They have a term for it. The other ones are literally, in a section, uncommon races. And now some of those really are just uncommon. There aren't many of them. Others, like gnomes, they actually, to the east is a sea. I'll show you the map in a bit shortly here. But yeah, to the east is a sea. They're from somewhere across the sea. That's where the gnomes come from. Whereas like half-orcs, those tend to be to the west across the desert somewhere, would be where they'd be from. Other races might actually just be rare. But so in this area, this particular section of the world, as it were, that's, what is more common. Whereas other things like, so if you see a gnome, he's not common. His ancestry is not from around here. But in other races, for example, humans, visually they have what I'd call almost that Mediterranean look, that darker skin, dark hair, kind of look to them. Whereas people of other complexions, other hair colors, types, they're from other parts of the world. So that way, just in it, because it's not really, ultimately the area that I've mapped out, which in a medieval standpoint is rather large, you can travel across it in a couple of weeks, probably, so it's not huge. But so I figured with it being that size, it'd probably be good to sort of unify the races. If someone's foreign, you kind of would know it. And then I have what is ultimately sort of 2 religions within the world, or 2, primary religions. Of course, there are others within there, but essentially there is one sort of monotheistic, sort of the worshippers of the All-Father, who worships this single deity, this single being that is not really present, that they say created everything and is the only one worthy of worship. They ultimately, even the other deities that others worship, they were created by the All-Father. So there would be no, so why would you worship that when really it's on the same line as them? Whereas the other deities, the Telramite deities, is a pantheon of 5. It's on the alignment. It's like a T with all 3 of the good, and then the neutral and neutral evil. Being, just a few of those. And generally, they are actually present. They're in the outer planes. If with the right sort of planar travel. You can find them, you can visit them. They are just very powerful beings. Ultimately, between that, you can find them, and they will not necessarily deny anything about the All-Father, but they are very much of the we have power, we are here, so they sort of have a desire to be worshipped, but they won't deny that perhaps something was here that made them that has since left. They just sort of give a bit of a neutral stance on that. So they're not actively against the All-Father, but they're... But anyway, so it's two different religions that have different viewpoints on the world. I just wanted to create that. And just some of the Telramite deities of the five on the neutral evil and is Anastasia, goddess of misery in the dark, who has the domains death, trickery, war. Others, let's see, we have Niren, is the neutral. It's goddess of the magic born within the world, and she takes the form of a dryad. The chaotic good is Garland, god of the good fight, and he's in the form of a Solar. I'm sorry, Anastasia was in the form of Marlith. Anyways, back to the neutral good is Forest Walker. In the form of a centaur, he is god of the wildlands and those who dwell there. And then finally, the lawful good deity is Celeste, who takes the form of a unicorn and is goddess of the good and the righteous. So those are what covers within the, and ultimately all of the domains are covered at least once, quite a few of them twice, or at least within there. On that pantheon, for the All-Father, it has knowledge, life, light, and nature are the domains, so it doesn't cover all of them, but it covers generally the more good ones, kind of. But yeah, so there's two different religions within the world, or popular religions, I guess you could call it. And I have a map. And I will show that to you. I'll get set up and I'll show it to you where I can just focus on it. We'll do that. Alright, so we have the map here. First off, down here, we have a scale. The whole scale bar is 100 miles. That'll let you see sort of a general scale for the map as a whole. To the north, essentially the map primarily is this section. But I have labels of what's outside of it. So the north is Glacier Valley, the Arctic sort of going to the ice kind of area. To the east is the Thianodal Ocean. Out here to the west, we have, in the northern portion to the west is the Endless Dunes, and the southern portion to the west is the Red Sands. Pretty much the ocean is also to the south. So this is sort of, you can kind of tell where the coast is. I'll call it a continent, I guess. Whatever. As a whole, is divided into primarily 4 sections. We have Volcathing, which is the orc and goblin ruled area. So lots of whatever. It's not a nice place. The more civilized races would just get killed if they go there. To the west here, we have Korgare, and it sort of runs within all the mountains. It's the dwarven ruled area. It's essentially ruled by a monarchy, but with a military twist. Essentially, the military leader is who's really ruling over it, essentially in the format of a king. So by being the best militant, you have that is what makes you king. But there are essentially kingdoms, from down here in the Ruby Mountains. There's a Fireforge all the way up through the Emerald Mountains. There's a couple, and then up in the Diamond Mountains we have Torgar even. So it's and then there's Amber is on the coast of the Sapphire Sea. So it is essentially their one not mountain, not cave, not cavernous city. It is their one outside city. In the middle here, we have this big area here, and that's Aradel. It is an elf-human kingdom. It's more of the typical monarchy. that, you know, with different areas, along it, and then whatever. This one up here is Cardiorn, or Riverside, is what it's commonly known as. That's actually where the main story takes place. It is primarily human and halflings that are there, and it is essentially a republic in that it's the landowners that vote on the law, but there are very few landowners in the whole area, essentially making it where it's a republic, but it's essentially like huge swaths of land would have like one landowner. I'm gonna come in for a little better detail there. On Riverside. Alright. So you can kind of see some of the things. We have, we have, essentially it is Riverside because of the rivers that run through it. We have, like, over here, this little city here is Shymel. We have River's End. We have High Ground. Korati and Twin River Fields are the main cities, but there are certainly other towns, villages, settlements within the area. That's not everything. That's the primary cities. Just like essentially the map is not showing everything. It does show here Mugwallow Marsh is this area here, but other things may not be labeled, like whatever. I know I named what the island is. Yeah, like this island here. That is Eshmael Isle. I know up here at the top of River of Milo is actually a little village called Milo. Other things. So there's more details to the world, but this is just sort of a general map to give an idea and a sense of setting and very much a sense of scale for travel. But essentially, yeah, this Cardiorn is definitely where the campaign will start, and at least a decent chunk of it will take place here. So, yeah, that is the map.
Alright, so that was what's on the map. As far as character creation, as ultimately I'm going to use this video for what I prep, let the characters watch as they're, before they prep. Generally, characters need to be good. They need to be willing to help people in need. Just for the campaign to work, that is the kind of people they need to make. It's the idea, if there's someone in need, are you at least sort of have a desire to help them? Because otherwise the campaign could fall apart. And you would just wander off and do your own thing. And ultimately, at the beginning, the game begins in Shymel, up in that northeastern sort of peninsula area. And generally, the beginning of the plot is that the characters, they form their party as they join essentially a merchant ship. Whether they're joining as short-term sailors, working their way, putting the work in to make their way across the Bay of Beltor, or whether they're hired on directly to help in case of raids, which have been happening in the area to fend off against pirates or anything like that. Essentially, so whichever reason they would end up hired on, whether as a sailor or as a protector, that for some reason they're joining this ship, and that's sort of how the game. So you can't have a fear of water. They need to be willing to join this just to get things started. Otherwise, I'm gonna bring in the players, and we will begin the character creation process now. All right, I have with me Nick to create his character first. Largely because he's really the one that had the character concept before I even had the storyline concept, which was a paladin of vengeance based on Johnny Cash's "God is Gonna Cut You Down."
Mm-hmm.
Is that still what you're doing?
Yeah.
Okay. So obviously, let's go through the basic decisions. Obviously, paladin. Do you know what race you were thinking of yet? Or
I was gonna go human.
You're gonna go human?
Mm-hmm.
All right. And
me just start with stat rolling if you'd like to do that.
Do you have scratch paper?
I didn't decide.
Oh, okay.
That.
That's good.
That's not so good. That could be worse.
It's 11. It's not bad. Basic roll 4, drop 1.
Another 11.
Mm-hmm. These guys don't like me.
9.
That's almost a good roll. Almost.
All right. So he got an 8, a 9, 2 11s,
2 13s.
and 2 13s. Pretty much what I'm doing here for StatGen is it's the 4 dropping the lowest, or if they want to go with the standard array, they can. Which usually, they've said, well, that's a terrible array.
It's totally better than mine.
Yeah, but I'm like, I think you actually, the array works better, right?
Yeah.
So yeah,
a lot.
Yeah, so we're gonna go ahead with the basic array of the book is 15, 14, 13, 12, 10, and 8. Yeah, that is just straight better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Better highs, better low.
Yeah, so that's what we're gonna be doing there. There. So if you want to write that down, so I can flip the page, or do you know where each one goes?
Yeah, I know where to do it.
Okay. It's like 15 strength, 14 con, 13 charisma, 12 dexterity. What is that? 8 intelligence, 10 wisdom.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And human has, I believe, 2 options for the type of human, or the layout, whatever of it. Whether you want to go with the basic one, which is all of your stats get increased by 1, or there's the 2 of them increased by 1. You get a proficiency and a skill, and you get a feat of your choice. You know which one you want to.
Well, I didn't know if you were.
I'm all over the variants.
But I have to look at feats. The +1 to everything's probably the best choice.
We'll look at the feats.
Sure.
Alright, so you're going to go with the one with the feat for the...
Yeah, the +2 stats and a feat and some skills.
Yeah. You said whatever, Great Weapon Master.
Mm-hmm.
That's, what is that?
You learn to put the weight of your weapon to your advantage, letting momentum and power strikes. If you were to bring a creature to 0 with a melee attack, you can use a bonus action to make another attack versus another creature. And before you make a roll, you can, with a heavy weapon, you can choose to take a -5 penalty and get +10 to the damage.
Okay, so you're planning on killing things?
Yes.
Okay.
The idea is, I may not hit often, but when I hit, stuff's going to explode.
Okay then.
Especially with a Paladin's Divine Smite, they get at 2nd level. Where I can choose to add damage after I know whether it's hit or not. Oh, look, it hit. And they need more damage.
Fair enough.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, let's see. Do you know what, let's see, yeah.
Back to humans.
So in addition to the Great Weapon Master feat and increasing your strength and charisma by 1, as a human, you get a skill. Which skill did you choose?
Religion.
So religion, and then so for paladin you get 2 more. You got, what is that? Intimidation
and athletics.
Athletics. Okay. Let's see. Your hit points at first level looks like 12.
Yeah, 10 plus con modifier, which is 2.
Yeah.
Your equipment, you chose to go with the martial weapons. Great, yeah, 2 martial weapons, a maul and a great sword.
5 javelins, an explorer's pack, chainmail, and my holy symbol.
Okay. And chainmail brings your AC up to 16. Were you going to be the Allfather?
Yes.
Essentially, the holy symbol being almost like a circlet that's with a twist in it, sort of the infinity band, the completeness idea behind it. So that would be what that is. But and otherwise, as a first level paladin, you get 2 abilities. You get Divine Sense, which you were saying is the ability to sense fiends, undead, and celestials, as well
Within
as
60 feet.
Yeah, within 60 feet, as well as consecrated or desecrated areas, as per the spell that does that. What, once per day? Once plus your charisma per day?
Yeah.
And then also you have Lay on Hands, which is healing your paladin level times 5 health throughout a day, but you can spend 5 of that to cure diseases or poison.
Yeah. Also, it's not only to myself, I can do it as an action to another creature I can touch.
Alright. So then I believe that would be it for the class. We go on to the background?
Yeah.
Alright. As for the backgrounds, I guess in general we'll start off by... because ultimately you're in Shymel when the story begins. Shymel is a city. It's sort of out on that eastern sort of reach, sort of eastern peninsula, beyond the Bay of Beltor. It is built to human scale, but it has a decent racial mix. Certainly mostly humans and halflings, but also fair selection of distant travelers. It is one of those coastal ports that people from all around the world would visit. For one, are you going to go with the more local? Are you from sort of this part of the world?
Yeah, so far I'm thinking my 3 choices would be either soldier, sailor, or outlander. So it would either be local but in the wilderness, local part of the military, or a soldier coming to seek my fortune and do goods for the god.
Ultimately, I guess soldier could be something retired, but while there is some militant action more in the southern part of the region, far away, not much of that has really reached this area. Obviously, sailor works for the beginning. Outlander, I suppose, could as well. So.
Let's see, what do they get? I think I'll go with sailor.
All right, why are you going to go with the sailor?
A little bit for the class features, but Outlander didn't really seem like it would fit the character as much. And just interesting seeing a foreigner come into this place and doing God's will, when not necessarily everyone here is all about the Allfather.
Okay, so the idea is you're going to be a sailor from one of the more distant shores. Some sort of, obviously at that point, depending on how far or where you came from, that part of the world is, as of yet, undetermined. So whatever, other than that general Mediterranean look, that, the darker features, that dark tan, that, black hair kind of look that is local, you can pretty much do whatever else you'd want to pretty much show you're from somewhere else. See, what do you get for, as mechanical, you get whatever, probably some skill proficiencies.
Yes.
Athletics, perception, you already got athletics, so you would just go select another one.
Anyone?
Sure, why not?
Okay.
It might say specifically, I don't feel like looking it up. I do not think giving you choice is going to break it. See, it looks like you also get...
I'll take medicine.
Alright, medicine? Yeah. And then, let's see, tool proficiencies, navigator's tools, and water vehicles, and then what equipment do you get from being a sailor?
I get a belay pin, which I'm guessing is some sort of vehicle pin for the ship, but it's a club. 50 feet of silk rope, a lucky charm such as a rabbit's foot or small stone with a hole in the center. I could also take an extra random trinket if we're doing trinkets.
I will always be doing trinkets. Trinkets are amazing.
So I could have 2 trinkets. and a set of common clothes, and a belt pouch containing 10 gold.
Alright.
And my class feature is Ship's Passage. If there's a ship, I can secure passage for it for free for me and my companions. I might have to work on the ship and establish some good relations, but because I have the training, I can usually find a way to get across some bodies of water.
So you can use that to tie yourself into the, the beginning story there.
Mm-hmm.
Very convenient for me.
Mm-hmm.
And do you know what your name is going to be?
Yeah, I think I'm going to go with Frank Grimes.
Frank Grimes?
Mm-hmm.
Alright. Do you know, I'm guessing, alignment somewhere on the good spectrum? But
Neutral good.
Neutral good? Alright, and so before we roll the trinkets, just the idea the 5th edition does have personal traits, ideals, bonds, flaws, being, whether they're quirks about your characters, the kind of person you are, what you hold as being ideal, the bonds, the ties you have to other parts of the world, or the flaws, the negative, the things about your character you might not like, the vices, etc. Do you have any of those that, you have in mind for what your character has, or?
Yeah. And personality traits, doing God's work. Bonds would be to basically the Allfather, and if this side of the world has, churches to him, bonds to their flaws, probably kind of stubborn and doesn't take a lot of crap. It might hurt people for doing harm against their fellow humanoids.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And as a sailor, you get 2 trinkets. Is that correct?
Yeah. Well, I get 1 trinket from being a person, but sailor also gets another
Yeah.
trinket.
So we'll roll those.
Either 6 or...
It's a 6.
6.
Yeah. Alright, let's see. 6 is going to get you an old chess piece made from glass. And you can roll for the other one. I'll hold that. That's 47. And 47 gets you a metal can that has no opening, but sounds as if it is filled with liquid, sand, spiders, or broken glass. It says your choice, but I'm going to make it my choice. And I'm going to make it full of liquid, because you're a sailor.
Okay.
Do you have any idea offhand you immediately get what those are going to be to you, or?
Well, the can I would have pulled up and been from the ocean probably at some point and wondered how they got a perfect seal on a can versus an opening top. And as for the...
Old chess piece made of glass?
Probably just something that looks cool in my cap.
Alright, simple enough. Alright, we'll get on to our next player. Hi, now I have with me Austin. I believe you were planning on doing a cleric, some sort of support, right? Is that still? Yeah. Something I didn't mention in the video, I did mention it to Nick, who, by the way, is making a Paladin of the Allfather, which might be relevant if you're going with cleric. But Shimel, I said you're starting in. That is, it is built to human scale, but is it's a very big mix of races, mostly humans and halflings. But there are various distant travelers, being that sort of that port city on the edge of the continent, out near the ocean. So there are mixes, a large mix there, whoever you'd be, based on where you would be coming from. Did you know what race you're going to be at this point? Or are you still deciding, or?
Probably human.
Okay. And were you thinking of being from the area or outside, or that's still deciding?
At least regionally close. Like, not outside the region.
Okay, so yeah,
Maybe not from the city, but...
Yeah, okay, that's what I mean. So you're that general, as I said, the Mediterranean, dark skin, dark hair, appearance would be pretty standard for that. You want to just jump on to rolling stats and see what we get here?
That's pretty good. That's a 13. 13. Alright, let's keep it going. I had a character like this before.
Was it 13 that everything was? 13s and 12s.
No, you've
I
you've
broke
broken that.
I broke it.
Oh no.
Yeah, 16. $12. $15. And one more.
12.
12. That's a pretty solid stat line.
Yeah, so you got 12, 12, 13, 13, 15, 16.
Really solid.
I'm sure Nick would be very sympathetic with the stats that you just rolled. You having to put up with that. Anyways, do you know what type of? Do you know where the stats go at this point, or?
Roughly, yeah. Clerics are still wisdom/charisma based. And I kind of imagine not being the most physically adept and focusing more on, mediation, defensive casting, those sorts of things. So we're not going to have some investment into the mentals, less onto the physicals.
Okay. And with human, there is, and I mentioned it, there's the choice, of course, of whether you take the just straight +1s to all your stats or whether you get the +1s to 2 stats, a feat, and a skill proficiency. Do you know which one you're thinking of, or?
I don't really. I rolled pretty good stats, and I don't really see the need to boost up my physicals. So I'll probably take the thing that gets me more proficiencies and more options.
All right. Do you want to look through what the feats are? And
yeah, I'd have to
do that. All right. So you're going with the feat.
Magic Initiate.
Yeah. And you're saying why was because you're planning to multiclass?
Yes, I'm planning on cross-classing Cleric and Wizard.
Okay.
So I figured Magic Initiate's a good way to, at first level, indicate my dual training in both Divine and Arcane Magic.
All right. And what does it give you?
Magic Initiate grants me 1 spell and 2 cantrips from a class's spell list. I would be choosing Wizard, so I would gain 2 cantrips and 1 first level spell from Wizard.
Okay. So, all right. So just giving you a boost on that.
Yeah, I start with a little extra magic.
Okay. And from human, do you know where you're going to give your +1s?
Most likely, I'm thinking wisdom and intelligence.
Okay.
As that'll even up my intelligence and my charisma, and also boost my wisdom, which is going to be lagging a little bit. But I like the idea of me being a little bit naive.
Okay. You want to actually put those out?
Yeah. Yeah. I'm marking in the saving throws margin. That's not correct. And this becomes 15 with a +1, so 16. And this becomes a 13 with a +1, so 14. And then I have 2 12s and a 13 to assign. And they are all +1s, so it's not really a large difference.
What do you mean they're all +1? Oh, +1 bonuses.
They're all +1 modifiers.
Yeah, yes, that they are.
So I'll go ahead and just make my strength, dexterity, 12, and my constitution 1 point higher.
Okay, so 12, 12, 13, 16, 14, 16.
Yes.
All right.
For full stats.
Yep. And you look through Cleric now. So you decided to go with, you said the Allfather, right?
Yes.
And you're going to go with Life Domain?
Yes.
And I guess whatever. It looks like you got... you chose from your human, he chose Arcane. The skills you got from Cleric are...
Medicine and religion.
Yeah.
Evening out my knowledge of both magic and both sides of it.
Okay, yeah. Let's see, you ended up with... of course, you started with 9 hit points. And the equipment that you chose as a Cleric was... You want to go over?
I chose Mace. The Life Domain gives me heavy arm proficiency, so I got to choose Chainmail as opposed to Scale Mail.
Mm-hmm.
I already had the melee weapon in the mace, so rather than another melee weapon, I chose light crossbow with 20 bolts of ammunition. I took the priest pack instead of the explorer's pack, and I also gained a shield and a holy symbol.
Okay. I was telling Nick for the Allfather, essentially what the symbol of the Allfather is it's a circle with a twist, so it's that sort of infinity circle of whatever the
Morbius strip.
And I think that might...
Sure?
Yeah, I would assume you are correct with what that's originally called. But yeah, that. that simple circle is what,
what his holy symbol is. And what did you get from the...
Is it like a hoop, or is it like a medallion with that emblazoned on it?
It can be various things. It could be actually like a circlet worn on the head. It could be a bracelet. It could be a hoop. It could be almost like mounted on the front of your shield. Whatever, it's versatile, but that simple design is what he uses, or what is used by the church as his holy symbol.
Mm-hmm.
What do you get from the life domain at first level?
Life Domain upgraded me to heavy armor proficiency,
Mm-hmm.
and it also gives me the function of when I cast a healing spell, it heals for 2 plus the spell level extra.
Okay.
Which will, at this level, it'll be 3. It'll heal for 3 more.
Okay. And you got 2 spells, right? Aren't those at first level?
Oh, the domain spells?
Yeah.
Yes. I gained, my first level domain spells are Bless and Cure Wounds, which means I can always cast them as long as I have spells available for the day.
Yeah, okay. And otherwise, as far as whatever with spells from your feet and etc., we'll do that after doing backgrounds, and which will give you the rest of your equipment. If you want to, do you know what background you're going to choose, or anything about that part of your character yet?
Not quite. I've got the general idea that I kind of want to be a wandering preacher, doing good deeds to promote the church, to promote it through deed, rather than promote it through evangelism. And that's sort of why I'm traveling about, just letting, fate and the All-Father guide me where I go.
Okay. And you were saying the reason that you chose the All-Father was...
Well, it wasn't really the reason, but I liked the idea of it, since the Tellermates churches acknowledge that maybe he might exist, but we're the ones that are here, we're the ones that are doing things, and I'm out to prove that the All-Father is here, through me, through my actions, he's helping you.
Very cool. Yeah. We'll go look at the backgrounds and make that decision now. Alright, so you decided on your background?
Yes. We went with Acolyte, which is pretty standard, but I felt it fits with what I wanted to do, so it works out. It gave me 2 skill proficiencies, Insight and Religion. I already had Religion, so I get to pick a different skill proficiency, so I took Persuasion.
Okay.
I gained 2 languages, which, with Human giving me Human, I took Halfling and Dwarven, or Dwarvish. It gave me a second holy symbol, a prayer book, some incense, some vestments, a set of common clothes, and 15 gold.
And you said you wanted to put that have it where one of the holy symbols is on your shield itself?
Yes.
And then it gives you whatever the feature of...
I can take shelter in churches of my faith.
Cool.
And people of my faith will assist me, within means.
And the background also mentions the idea of personality traits, ideals, bonds, flaws. Do you have any idea of that personality part of your character?
Kind of. I want him to be that always positive, always sees the bright side, always wants to help kind of guy. The real kind of just unquenchable fire type of nice guy.
Mm-hmm.
And, the personality, the ideals, the bonds, they kind of support that kind of idea. Obviously, that's been considered.
And if you want to flip to the back of equipment for me while I get that camera going. Right there.
Trinket.
I will take that, and I'll let you roll for your trinket. Let's see, 17.
It's a 71.
No. I know you like to look at it from left to right, but the tens digit is always the one with the zeros. That's 17. That is how we would be doing it. I don't care when it's the Friday nights here. That's how we'll do it. But anyways, that's a glass orb filled with moving smoke.
Neat.
Let's see. As cleric, you just get the full list as far as what you can prepare from?
Yeah.
So ultimately, the only ones you're really deciding at this point will be the feat spells. We'll go back and we'll look through those.
Because I don't have a spells known, I don't have a spell book, so I would just pick from the list and prepare.
Yep, like it wasn't.
And I don't have to prepare Bless and Cure Wounds because they are constantly considered prepared, thanks to the domain.
Alright, but we'll go back and we'll look through your arcane ones from your feet. Alright, so you've gotten through and made your decisions on spells. For a cleric, you got 3 cantrips, which were...
I chose Mending, Thaumaturgy, and Spare the Dying.
Any special reasons or just general?
Generally with my cantrips,
I like to try and pull out what I would just basic utilities, cover my bases things. I mean, I'm a person in the world with magic. What kind of cantrips would I want to have on a daily basis that I can just use over and over again? And it's like mending, the ability to repair your clothes, repair anything that breaks, spare the dying. Important if I want to, heal people in any kind of situation. And thaumaturgy has a lot of minor functions which can be useful. One of them being the ability to make my voice louder, which I think can be useful.
And then with your feet, you got 2 wizard cantrips.
Yes, which I chose. I tried to choose some spells. I decided that I wanted to use it like it was. Like, this is my wizard training. So I chose some spells that are kind of basic and, the bread and butter of a wizard. And so I chose Dancing Lights for light production, Prestidigitation, which is like the all-round wizard do little things spell, and I also gained a once per long rest first level wizard spell, which I chose as detect magic.
Mm-hmm. And I believe the way that feat works, you learn it, so you can also use your slots on it.
Presumably.
Yeah. I'm the DM. Yeah.
Hey, that's fine. That's fine. I'm just saying.
And then also, as far as at least the beginning of the game, you chose what first level cleric spells you had prepared as.
Yeah, I'm allowed to prepare 3 cleric spells, even though I only have 2 first level spell slots. And so I decided to start the game with Healing Word, which lets me heal at a range, because my domain ensures I always have my regular heal prepared. I chose Sanctuary, which can ward a creature and make anyone attacking them make a save to succeed in attacking them. And Shield of Faith, which allows me to give a targeted individual a +2 to their AC.
Alright. See, just in general, I guess one thing. Do you know what your character's name is going to be?
Not yet. I usually do build mechanic first, fluff later, so I haven't even come up with a name yet.
Have you decided on alignment?
Yes. I'm thinking neutral good. I don't think he's quite a hardliner for the rules, so I think I might want to start neutral good, and then we'll see where that goes.
Alright. Do you want to decide your character's name today?
No.
Okay.
I would not. We would be here for like an hour.
Alright, well then we'll try and remember to mention that as the game...
we'll do like a character introduction when we do the first session, right?
Probably, if I remember. Anyways, so we'll get our next player in to make his character now. And finally, I have with me Bob to make our third and final character. You've jumped around, I believe, a bit between fighter and barbarian, and I think there was some ranger.
Yeah, I looked at all of them, and then I'm kind of sold on barbarian as them and monks, which I'm not allowed to play because the last 3 campaigns I've played, I've been a monk in every single one. But any campaign where we're starting at low level, low equipment, not good money, stats aren't always going to be as high as they are at later levels, and you can't get all of the magical doodads that make you impervious to death and dismemberment, I try to choose characters and classes that allow me to have high survivability, and both the barbarian and the monk have 2 stats into their armor and increased movement speed. And the barbarian has a lot of health, rolling with a d12, and one of the stats that go into their armor is Constitution. So I'm once again trying to ruin everyone's day by having the highest armor and just not being able to get hit.
It means I can target him all I want, and if he gets through, that's his fault, not mine if he dies.
I can live with that, or not, depending upon how the particular fight goes, I suppose.
Yeah. Did you know what race you're going to be, or?
No, I'm going to wait till my stats pan out, because if it's something where I'm going to need the +1 or +2 for whichever class I wind up actually taking, I want to be able to switch around without having said anything. So whatever I pick, that was what I wanted the whole time, I promise.
Well, then we'll roll those. Did you need scrap paper, or you just want to do it in the margins here?
I will do it in the margins.
Ah! Yeah, roll them in the box.
I do what I want, Mr. Sir.
So,
I don't count so good. What's that again?
That's an 18, actually.
That is an 18. Fantastic.
I hope all the rest of yours are 3s.
Don't be rude. Who's rude? And the one I can't see. Not a 3, but a 13, which is not my favorite number. But we'll go ahead and throw that here for now, which none of you can see. So just trust me, it was the correct place to put it.
He's writing it on his sheet.
So what's
That's actually a 17.
It's a 17. A 17, you say? I'm gonna go ahead and put that down too. Yeah, right there. My armor's looking great thus far, guys. That's it's not great. It's another 13. Yep, not gonna be the best looking fellow, but hey, I am in real life, so I don't really have to worry about it on the character sheet.
Ah, yes. Good. 8. Take that.
I will, and I will put that right in strength, right where the barbarian needs it most.
No!
And
Another 13.
Another 13. We have a little system going here. 1, 3. Okay.
So 8, 3 13s, a 17, and an 18.
Not bad. I'm fairly happy with that, gotta be honest. I was a little concerned that I couldn't even cheat on these because everyone would be watching. But no, I don't even have to cheat. This is good news.
That is one of the nice things about the camera on the dice.
I feel like this might just be part of every game, and thus ruin all the good I've ever done.
To be fair, I probably won't pay enough attention to it as the game goes by, but I will know that you did it when I go through to edit.
That's fine.
And so will everybody else.
We'll just keep a cheat counter every time I show up on the screen, like 1, ding! That'd be great.
So are those where you're putting it?
Those are exactly where I'm putting it, and I am indeed going to go barbarian.
You're going to have 8 strength as a barbarian to be your Dexy barbarian.
To be my Dexy barbarian, because, class, you
jerk.
can do a finesse weapon and still add your bonus to the damage. There is no reason to put anything in strength, just go with the finesse weapon.
We went over it. There's a mild reason that you don't care about.
The increased armor and everything else good and green in the world. It's fantastic.
You come from like a barbarian tribe where you had to leave because they picked on you too much.
I was a very picked on barbarian.
Puny.
I am willing to survive that very puny, picked on, sad barbarian. Tough as all get out, though. Very tough and puny barbarian. It's not one or the other, but both.
His 13s all went to his mentals.
Yes, and how good looking I am.
Well, those are mentals. Your charisma is a mental.
You know, you say that, and I don't disagree with you.
Yeah, because really, how good looking you are, to a large extent, has to do with some of your physical stats.
Well, it looks like I'm probably going to wind up going somewhere in the elf tree because there are elves with decent stat boosts.
He just goes for the mechanics. He doesn't care about the story.
I have a story. I find something that fits the mechanics, and then I build a story. All I need is a beautifully built character, and I will put him wherever I want.
So, we're going to let him decide on what race he's going to be based on the stat lists.
Gensai? Gensai? Is that Gensai? I'm going to be an air Gensai.
Air Gensai have.
Well, they can hold their breath indefinitely, unless I'm incapacitated, and they can cast a Levitate spell once per day. But the thing I like best about them is the light blue skin, hair, and eyes, and they constantly have this faint breeze accompanying them. It's a fantastic little feature about their character that I really enjoy. Also, they give me +1 to Dex.
So that puts your deck out to around 18 on the...
Oh no, it's 1820. The Constitution goes up to 20 because they get +2 to Con.
All right. Well, yeah, it's from the Elemental Evil Player's Companion. Now, are you thinking you actually came from the elemental plane of air at some point, or?
Well,
perhaps. I mean, ultimately, I guess they're half. Did your mother sleep with someone?
No,
came
my
to
father did. He's a boss. And then she just kind of dumped the kid on him.
Okay. And that's where you ended up in sort of whatever tribal...
Tribal living, yes indeedy. He thought he had a dream, I suppose.
Alright, so yeah, there's your race. You're holding your breath and you're levitating, etc. So as a barbarian at first level, what do you get?
First level barbarians get... Well, first of all, they get their D12 to health, which is fantastic. They also get a +2 proficiency bonus. They get their rage ability, their unarmored defense ability, and then it details how many rages you can have per day and the bonuses you get whilst raging.
What equipment are you going to choose?
That is a fantastic question. I flipped the page inappropriately early. Let's see here. It is not on this page. You lied to me. See, it's not on this page.
It's right at the top of the next one, isn't it?
Yeah, which is why I was
Which is
trying
exactly
to-
what he flipped to.
So, really, this is all your fault.
Whose fault? Yeah, I only see you right now.
Don't edge yourself out of the camera, sir. You just belong on it. I'm going to choose option B, which is any martial melee weapon, because I need to go get a weapon with finesse since
Were you doing rapier?
I'm most likely going to go rapier,
Yeah.
because I'm going to be using my finesse for damage as opposed to my strength for damage
As a barbarian.
as a barbarian. You can be upset all you want, but I feel like this is the best choice.
Mechanically speaking? Yeah. Perhaps.
What? My character's going to
Let's
be...
go on. What else are you choosing?
Very well. Rude. I'm going to go with... Actually, I'm going to go... Nah, probably...
He doesn't know. He hasn't made up his mind yet.
Yeah, I'm going to go with B on both of them. B on the second choice is I have a choice between either two hand axes or any simple weapon of my choice, and I'm once again going to go with the weapon of my choice. And then I'm, of course, going to take my Explorer's Pack with 4 javelins, which I probably will not use because they require strength. I'm going to go and buy darts.
So moving on, do you know what background you're going to choose? Or you're going to look through those?
I'm going to have to look through those.
All right.
So enjoy this upcoming fade. You grew up in the wilds, far from civilization and the comforts of a town and technology. You witnessed the migration of herds larger than forces, survived weather more extreme than any city dweller could ever comprehend, and enjoyed the solitude of being the only one thinking creature for miles in any direction. The wilds are in your blood, whether you are a nomad, an explorer, a recluse, a hunter-gatherer, or even a marauder. Even in places where you don't know the specific features of the terrain, you know your ways of the wild.
Going to be an Outlander?
I feel like I ought to.
Yeah, it fits. It fits almost with the way your racing class sort of combined. Yeah.
Well, I really just like the stuff.
What is it?
I'm
What
kidding.
does it-
I'm kidding. I didn't even read the stuff. I am kidding. I'm kidding. A staff, a hunting trap, a trophy from an animal you killed, a set of traveler's clothes, a belt pouch containing 10 gold. I don't know, that one's pretty poor. Maybe I should pick someone else that makes less sense. Oh, I guess not.
It also gives you a language of your choice, proficiency with a type of musical instrument, and athletics and survival skill proficiencies. You didn't do your skill proficiencies for your class yet. We didn't talk about them.
Fade.
All right, so you got from going back to your class, you got the Constitution and Strength saving throw proficiencies. And what skills did you choose from that?
From my class, I chose Nature and Perception.
Okay. With Outlander, you also, I don't know if you noticed, you get the Wanderer feature, which is you have an excellent memory for maps and geography, and can always recall the general layout of terrain, settlements, other features around you, and you can find food and fresh water for yourself and up to 5 other people each day, provided that the land offers berries, small game, water, and so forth. And I know that there are... you don't necessarily like a lot of the personality traits, ideals, bonds, flaws they added in 5th edition, but you have idea for what your personality is going to be, what kind of character you're going to build?
Well, I figured that I'd worship the Forest Walker. Fairly fond of him as a person, character, centaur, whatever. And honestly, I think that I'm going to make my character a bit kind of insane with the fights, because, well, my character is so incredibly weak, but quite fast and quite...
Just ignore it.
Quite fast and quite strong. He was always kind of like, go ahead, hit me kind of personality. People would challenge him or would insult him, and he'd get into fights, and they just really couldn't hurt him. So he would win fights by being exhaustingly difficult to put down. The Homer Simpson effect, if you will. Just kind of lets them hit him in the face until they get tired.
Okay, cool. Do you know what alignment you're going to be?
Yeah, I'm going to go with neutral good.
Okay, following your deity in that line. And have you decided on a name?
I have not decided on a name.
Neither did Austin.
I honestly haven't thought about it at all because I wasn't sure what character I was making until this very moment, really.
Right.
Other than the fact that I wanted to be a barbarian, and I fortunately got the roles that I wanted to be able to be a successful one.
All right. Well, to finish this up, we have one more roll for you to make to see what trinket you get.
That's good. I love the trinket system. I gotta be honest. I thought it was...
He used it so well in the other game.
I thought it was a ridiculous thing, and I got this trinket that was absolutely insane, and I didn't want to use it at all.
You got a bag of teeth.
I had a bag of teeth, and now I collect teeth. Every person I knock out or kill, I pull a tooth.
So let's see what you get here. 25. 25 is a tiny silver icon of a raven.
Fantastic! I now have a little sigil. I'm happy with this.
All right. And so...
I'm positively crowing about it.
Anyways, so that was Bob creating his character. We'll get together, and next video will actually be the start of the campaign. I'll have them do like an introduction at the beginning of that to give out what their names are for those that haven't decided. And so we'll see you next time when we actually start session 1 of the campaign. Bye.